Good day, STEM students. Welcome to General Physics 2. And today we're going to discuss the topics under Learning Activity Plan number 1. And the title of Learning Activity Plan number 1 is Electric Charges in Coulomb's Law. This lesson is divided into two parts, or it's going to be discussed in 2 weeks. For the first week, it's going to be all about electric charges and a brief background about Coulomb's law and some simple computations. Next week, we're going to have the more complicated computations wherein we're going to involve three charges. This week, the presentation will be divided into three parts, and this is going to be part number 1. Here are the objectives of learning activity plan number 1. Describe using a diagram charging by rubbing and charging by induction. Explain the role of electron transfer in electrostatic charging by rubbing. Discuss how charging by conduction happens. State that there are positive and negative charges and that charge is measured in coulombs. Differentiate conductors and insulators. And lastly, state Coulomb's law and apply it in a simple electrostatic force computations. This week's presentation will be divided into the following outline: electric charge, processes of charging, conductors versus insulators, Coulomb's law, and then the sample problems involving two charges. Basically, part 1 will be all about electric charge. Let's begin. On the picture, you will see, diba ginawa natin to as a brief introduction for our lesson during the synchronous class. You will see here different kinds of appliances. And we know naman, you've answered that there are certain appliances which you believe you can live without, no? And most of the time, talaga naman, as humans, we are resilient and we can do things without these appliances. It's just that it makes our life um, a lot easier if we're going to use them. However, hindi natin mapapakinabangan ang appliances na ito if we don't have electricity. That's why for us students, for you students, for us humans, it is still necessary for us to study or have some background about electricity. And it all started with the concept of electric charges, because without electric charges, of course, there will be no electricity. Hindi gagana ang gadgets natin and lahat ng bagay sa bahay natin na dependent sa electricity. Electric charge is the property that causes subatomic particles such as protons and electrons to attract and repel each other. The basic principle is that when opposite charges interact, not just protons and electrons, they will attract each other. However, if the charges interacting are having same charges, for example, both of them are positively charged, they will just repel each other. The same goes when you try to interact together two charges which are both negatively charged. The symbol for charge is lowercase letter q as a convention for our class. However, in some books, it is capitalized. The standard unit for electric charge is coulomb, represented by capital letter C. However, it is usually expressed, especially in problem solving, as nanocoulomb or microcoulomb. I hope you still recall that. Wait lang ha, I will choose color. I think I should choose color yellow. Recall in our introduction that we have what we call the metric prefixes. These are prefixes affixed before a specific unit so that it would have another meaning or an equivalent. So we have here the nanocoulomb, and remember that nano is a metric prefix that is actually equivalent to 1 times 10 raised to negative 9. So in problem solving, if we want to write the given, and in the problem, the given is in nanocoulomb, you have to express it as times 10 raised to negative 9. And then this letter here is a Greek letter that is micro, and its equivalent is 1 times 10 raised to negative 6 naman. No? Negative exponents. So small amounts lang siya. Now, regarding electric charge, the smallest possible charge that an object or a particle could have is what we call the elementary charge. And the elementary charge is represented by lowercase letter e. Hopefully nakikita nyo yung ano, no? Yung kulay yellow na Sorva bells, ayan, okay. And it is equal to 1.602 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulombs. Why am I saying this to you? Number one, so that you would know that there is a specific limit lang na pinakamaliit na pwedeng maging value of a charge. And then another thing is that in problem solving, there are times that the charges are expressed in terms of the elementary charge. So pwedeng magkaroon ng given sa problem na sasabihin sa'yo, the particle has a charge of positive 2e. Ayan. Kapag ganyan yung sinabi sa'yo sa problem, it means that you have to multiply the positive 2 by the value of the elementary charge, which is 1.602 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb. And then yun yung i-input mo sa given at i-input mo sa iyong solution. Para siyang acceleration due to gravity. You should know its value already when you see it in the problem. Next, here are the subatomic particles and their respective charges. Inside the atom, we know naman that we have the protons, the electrons, and the neutrons. The protons are the positively charged, the electrons are the negatively charged, and the neutrons are the neutral particles, meaning their charge is equal to 0. Okay? Or in other words, uncharged sila. The charge of a proton represented by Q to stand for charge, and then P, the subscript is for proton, is equal to positive E, while the charge of electron represented by Q sub E is equal to negative E. Palitan ko lang yung kulay ng aking pen. Ayan. This means that the charge of a proton is positive 1.602 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb, because remember that E is the elementary charge and its numerical value is 1.602 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb. On the other hand, since electron has the charge of negative E, it is negative 1.602 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb. Please take note that charges are scalar quantities. So if you see a positive or a negative sign, it does not have to do with their direction. So hindi ibig sabihin na pag positive yung charge ng isang particle or object, puro sa positive direction lang siya pumupunta. Hindi ganon, no? And consequently, hindi rin naman porke negative yung charge ng isang object or particle, pupunta lang lagi siya sa negative direction. These signs only indicate how they will react if they interact with each other. Katulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, when opposite charges interact, they attract each other, while when same charges interact, they repel each other. Hindi rin ibig sabihin ito na mas malaki yung charge or yung value ng proton kaysa sa electron. Kasi 'di ba sa number line, kapag positive yung number, ibig sabihin mas mataas yung value niya kaysa sa negative na number. Hindi siya ganun dito sa charges. Again, the signs are not about which one is higher in value, or hindi rin siya about sa direction. About lang siya kung paano sila magre-react sa isa't isa when you try to have them interact with each other. Okay? Ayan. Here are some of the behavior of charged objects that you have to take note of. Remember, objects na to ha. Objects meaning matter, kahit anong matter, no? And these objects, of course, dahil matter sila, they have charges inside of them. Please take note also na everything has charges but not everything are charged. Diba? Kasi all matter, meron naman silang charged particles talaga sa loob nila. Tama ba? They have electrons and protons, pero hindi ibig sabihin noon ay sila ay charged particles. Ay charged objects kasi may tinatawag nga tayong uncharged or neutral object. Sabi dito, objects become charged because there is an imbalance of protons and electrons. Again, pag sinabi nating charged, hindi ibig sabihin no na sila lang yung may charges or charged particles sa loob nila, no? Ibig sabihin lang nun, when an object is charged, there is an imbalance of protons and electrons. One is greater than the other. When the object is positively charged, it means that there are more protons than electrons. On the other hand, when an object is negatively charged, it means that there are more electrons than protons. And then when the object naman is uncharged or neutral, it means that there are equal numbers of protons and electrons inside of it. Okay? Ayan. So, I have here 3 examples and what we're going to do, katulad ng ginawa natin sa synchro class natin, we're just going to count the number of electrons and protons. Here, the number of electrons are 5 as well as the number of protons. And since sabi dun sa behaviors or dun sa previous slide, excuse me, when electrons and protons are equal, the charge of the object is neutral or uncharged. And then, to get naman the net charge, by the way, may tinatawag tayong net charge represented by sigma and then Q. Sa physics or sa math, kapag nakakita ka ng Greek letter na sigma, it denotes summation, net, or total. Okay? So ito, dahil isinama natin yung Greek letter na sigma sa Q, this represents total charge of the object or net charge of the object. Okay? How will we know the net charge of the object? Ayan. We will just, di ba, alam naman natin that an electron has a charge that is equal to elementary charge but negative inside. So we just have to have the negative kasi electron nga siya, tapos 5 yung electron. And then you multiply it by the elementary charge. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng electrons sa loob ng object nito will have a total charge of negative 5e. Tapos, ganun din sa proton. We know that protons are positively charged. Tapos, may 5 proton sa object natin. And then, alam din natin that the magnitude of the charge of a proton is also equal to the elementary charge. To get the total charge or net charge of this object, we just have to add the charges of all the electrons in this object. That's negative 5e. And then, so i-consider natin yung signs ha kapag mag-a-add tayo to get the net charge. And then, positive 5e. And if we add them together, the result is 0. So for a neutral object, since the number of electrons and the number of protons are equal, the net charge is equal to 0. So here's the second example. We have naman still 5 electrons, but this time we only have 3 protons. Notice that there are more electrons than protons. Therefore, this object is negatively charged. And again, we can also describe this mathematically by getting all the charges of the electrons, that's negative 5e, and then for the protons, that's positive 3e. And then to get again the net charge, we just add together negative 5e plus positive 3e. And the result is negative 2e. Okay? So this one is the charge or the net charge of this object expressed in elementary charge. Pero katulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, when it comes to problem solving, it is better for us to have the it is required to have the exact value. So kapag nakakita ka ng negative 2e, it means that you have to multiply by 2 the value of the elementary charge, which is 1.602 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb. Ayan. Iaano ko lang sa calcu ha, saglit lang. So negative pa rin naman yan, no? That's going to be 2 times 1.602 times 10 raised to negative 19. And the exact charge of this object is negative 3.204 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb. Ayan. And then the last example, we have 2 electrons and then 5 protons naman. And since there are more protons than electrons, this object is obviously positively charged. And then the electrons have a charge of negative 2e while the protons have the charge of positive 5e. So to get the net charge, again, we add with the sign negative 2e plus positive 5e. That's going to be positive 3e. And again, we need to get the exact value. So we multiply 3 and 1.6602 exponent negative 19. And the answer is positive 4.806 times 10 raised to negative 19 coulomb. Ayan. Next, just like energy and momentum, electric charge is also conserved, which means that charge cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can be transferred between objects in a closed system. Transferred. So, naglilipatan lang, kaya nagkakaroon ng iba-ibang charges. Now, another thing, kapag conservation, hindi lang ganitong format yung expression niya. Diba sa energy, pwede rin siyang, yung conservation of energy can also be expressed as the total mechanical energy before the total initial mechanical energy is equal to the total final mechanical energy. Ganun din sa momentum. The total momentum before the collision is equal to the total momentum after the collision. So dito naman sa electric charge, we have the total or sum, di ba, sigma. The total charge before the charging process, kasi ang pinagdadaanan dito ay charging process. Again, the total charge before the charging process is equal to the total charge after the charging process. Remember, kapag ginagamit natin sa physics yung subscript na O or 0, it denotes initial. Or kung ano yung condition before the charging process. Tapos, kapag wala ka namang nakitang subscript, that is the final. No? Ayan. So, mga hindi ko naging student nung first sem, ito ang convention na ginagamit ko. No? Hindi ako gumagamit nung I para sa initial or F para sa final. Kasi sa books ng college, hindi naman usually ginagamit, lalo na if it's going to be university physics, hindi sila gumagamit nung I at saka nung F. So that you would be familiar with the subscripts, yun na yung ginagamit ko para sa atin, no? Lalo na sa mga mag-i-engineering. Ayan. So again, for the conservation of electric charge, the total charge before the charging process, ito yon, is equal to the total charge after the charging process. So bigyan ko lang kayo ng example, no? Halimbawa, we have two objects. Ayan, ito isa, sabihin natin dalawa silang bilog, no? Tapos yung isa ay positive 3 ang kanyang charge. Tapos yung isa naman ay negative 7 yung kanyang charge. So ito ang kanyang, ito ang charges ng objects A and B. before the charging process. So, paano natin kukunin yung kanyang net charge before the charging process? Ganun lang katulad sa ginawa natin kanina, i-add natin sila. So, that's positive 3. Lagyan natin ng E para mas accurate. Ayan. Positive 3E minus 7E, or positive 3E plus negative 7E, that's going to be negative 4E. For it to be conserved, dapat yung after the charging process, ayan pa rin yung magiging summation. Paano mangyayari yun? Okay, ayan, B, object A and object B. Maraming possible scenarios, okay? As long as after the charging process, dapat ang kanyang net charge pa rin ay negative 4E. So, pwedeng ang mangyari after mag-charge or after the charging process, by the way, kapag nagkaroon ng charging process, ang lumilipat ay electron. So, pwedeng yung halimbawa, dalawang electron ng object B lilipat sa object E. So, kapag dinagdagan natin ng dalawang electron dito, magiging positive 1 na lang ang kanyang charge. Alam mo bakit naging positive E na lang? Kasi 'di ba, kung dadagdagan ko itong A ng dalawang electron, so magiging positive 3E plus negative 2E kasi dalawang electron, no? Ano bang sum niyan? Eh di 1 na lang, 'di ba? So positive 1E na lang to siya. Tapos itong si B, syempre inalisan mo siya ng ano, 'di ba? Ng dalawa, no? Dalawang electron. So magiging kasi 7 yung excess electrons niya, yun ang ibig sabihin niya, negative 7E, no? Lumipat yung dalawa, so ibig sabihin 5 excess na lang yung electron ni B. Ayan, okay? So lumipat yung dalawa dito sa A, naging positive E na lang siya. Tapos dahil umalis yung dalawang electrons dito, magiging 5 na lang yung kanyang electrons. And notice, if you add them together, positive 1 plus negative 5, ang sagot pa rin natin ay negative 4E. So ito yung ibig sabihin when we say that charges are conserved. Ayan, ito yung GIF showing us na ang nagmo-move ay yung electrons at hindi yung protons for objects to be charged. Ayan, thank you for listening to the part 1 of our lecture here. See you in the next video, which is about electric charges and Coulomb's law, part 2.